interesting thing. I think with Henry, he sees the world as a very damaged and broken place, and his ultimate goal is to fix that. Because of his childhood experience, he talks about the idea of isolation and loneliness. The guy was isolated from his family. His mother didn't understand him. His father was an alcoholic. There's a show, there's a Stranger Things play on it in London at the moment, and a lot of this is also explored in the play. And so within that, you know, he becomes again isolated, I suppose, and lonely, and has to create a world in his own head, right? And it did make me look at the world in a different way. It did make me think that the world is at times a very dangerous place, and that's not something I grew up believing. You know, I grew up believing everything's beautiful. You know, grew up in the English countryside, everything's amazing, life is gorgeous, the sun shines, everything's beautiful. But I think, and there were many times that I'd be saying things, and on the set, on camera, and in my mind, I would be back in some of the places that I've been to, and the things that I was saying felt true, you know? Take from that what you will. And there were many times that I'd be saying things, and on the set, on camera, and in my mind, I would be back in some of the places that I've been to, and the things that I was saying felt true, you know? Take from that what you will.
And Vecna, in terms of like the things that you discovered about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we were saying, you know, you always uncover more about yourself as you go through an artistic process. So, yeah, I mean, not even in the middle, like deep in both, like fully cemented in both. But that's part of my process now. And I think for characters like this, you know, the characters that we perceive or that are presented as being evil, they have to be that way because of something, right? And my process now is trying to understand why somebody becomes the way that they are, and in that you form a relationship with them, and you form a love with them, and you protect them. Yeah. In a way, you know, it's like if somebody's like, oh, well, Henry's the bad guy, I'm like, no, I don't agree with that. I mean, I think Brenner is the worst of all of them, you know, I think I really do. But I'm sure Matthew Modine, if he was sat here, would say, you're wrong, you know.
I'm not well versed in Stranger Things at all. Like, so I've seen it all once.
Right.
But I imbibe as much as I can, but...
So Brenner, you know, Dr. Brenner, he runs...
Oh, okay, the doctor.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So he runs a laboratory, and he sort of is manipulating the children for his own advantage, you know.
Now, would you say... I love watching sometimes characters interact with one another on screen, because they're always reflections of each other, right?
Yes,
now,
there is a truth.
Is the Doctor, in a way, a reflection of what Henry sort of becomes? Because, like, I'm sure that the Doctor had good intentions at the beginning, and is so unwilling to change course that they become villains. That's how villains become, right?
Yeah.
Is that they have a viewpoint and they are unwilling to change, and through that pursuit, anything, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, yeah.
And so in his pursuit at maybe being a good doctor,
yeah,
unwilling, blind, evil.
Yeah. So do I think he's a reflection? I mean, I think that that's a very interesting spiritual question, because I think that when we look at each other, there's, you know, that there are schools of thought when you see something in somebody else that you don't like, it's because it's a reflection of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Do I think that Henry is looking at Brenner thinking, there is part of me in you? No, because every time that guy entered the room, I was like, I'm sorry, children, I'm going to swear right now, but every time that guy entered the room, I was like, you fucking bastard, you've ruined my life. So, do I think that Brenner made Henry the way that he is? I wonder if there's part of that which is that in order for Henry to survive, he had to do things because of Brenner. Maybe.